Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here today. Their quote, a Japanese proverb that says, fall 7 times, rise 8. Simple, powerful, and yet how many of us truly live by it? Today, I want to take you on a journey through failure, pain, doubt, hope, and victory. Because this isn't just about motivation, it's about transformation. This is about never giving up, no matter what. We often see someone rise to fame or fortune and assume it happened overnight. A tech founder launches a startup that's suddenly worth millions. A singer drops one viral song and becomes a global name. But these moments are never truly instant. They are the result of long, silent battles behind the scenes. Let's take the example of Kevin Hart, now one of the biggest names in comedy. Many think he became famous overnight, but in reality, he spent over a decade performing in small clubs, being booed off stage, and facing rejection from networks before the world noticed him. His overnight success was built on years of grind. Similarly, consider James Clear, author of Atomic Habits. His book sold millions of copies and changed lives, but it was the result of writing 2 blog posts per week for nearly 5 years, building trust and learning what connected with people. His success came slowly, brick by brick, not in a flash. The myth of overnight success also hurts aspiring creators and entrepreneurs. It sets false expectations. When people don't see immediate results, they feel like failures. But in truth, greatness takes time. Mastery requires patience. What looks like luck is usually the result of relentless practice and preparation. Think about Michelangelo, the legendary artist. His David sculpture is world famous, but it took him over 2 years of backbreaking labor. And before that, years of studying anatomy, marble, and technique. No one watched that part. They only admire the final statue. Even in business, this myth prevails. Airbnb, now a billion-dollar company, was rejected by investors over 20 times and almost went bankrupt. The founder sold cereal boxes to keep the company alive. People think it exploded out of nowhere, but it was years of hardship. Real success is not viral. It's gradual, earned, and often lonely. The world celebrates the moment of arrival but ignores the path that led there. The truth, you don't need to succeed overnight. You just need to not quit. Keep improving, keep building, and trust your timeline. So stop chasing fast fame. Respect the hustle, embrace the journey. And remember, slow success is still success. The first fall in life is always the hardest, not because it's the most painful, but because it's the most unexpected. Whether it's a failure in school, a lost job, a broken relationship, or a crushed dream, the initial collapse shakes the very foundation of who we believe we are. When you face your first fall, your confidence takes a direct hit. You begin to question everything. Was I even good enough? What did I do wrong? Why me? These thoughts don't just bruise the ego, they wound the spirit. The shock isn't just in the loss, it's in how unprepared we were for it. Take a young athlete who trained for years only to lose a championship at the last moment. Or an entrepreneur who poured their soul into a business idea only to watch it collapse. Or someone who gave their all to a relationship only to be left behind. The first fall doesn't just hurt, it surprises. It's like being punched by life when you never saw it coming. But here's what we don't realize at the time. The first fall is the beginning of strength. It's the first time you see what you're really made of. It's the first time life asks you, will you get up or stay down? And in that moment, you begin to learn that failure is not the end, it's a teacher. The shock of the first fall teaches humility. It reminds us we are human. It forces us to grow. Most importantly, it makes the next fall less terrifying. You learn to absorb failure, to stand again, and to move forward more wisely. Every successful person has had their first fall, and most of them will tell you that was the turning point, because from that moment on, they stopped fearing failure. They embraced it, learned from it, and grew stronger, Doc. So if you've recently experienced your first real setback, know this: it's not the end of your story, the start of your comeback. The pain is real, but so your potential, Doc. Fall 7 times, rise 8. But it all begins with the first fall and what you choose to do after it. Our inner voice is a powerful tool that shapes our thoughts, decisions, and ultimately our reality. It is the constant whisper within us, guiding us through the ups and downs of life. However, within this internal dialogue, 2 conflicting forces often battle for dominance: doubt and faith. Doubt is the voice that questions our abilities, our worth, and the possibilities ahead. It is rooted in fear and insecurity, often clouded by past failures or negative experiences. Doubt makes us second-guess our choices, telling us that we are not capable or deserving of success. It manifests as the fear of failure, fear of rejection, and the feeling of not being good enough. The louder this becomes, the more we begin to question everything around us, including our potential to achieve our dreams. On the other hand, faith is the voice that believes in our abilities, our potential, and the unknown. It is rooted in hope and trust, even when the outcome is uncertain. Faith encourages us to take risks, to step outside our comfort zone, and to persist in the face of challenges. It reminds us that setbacks are not the end, but rather an opportunity to learn and grow. Faith whispers to us that we have the strength to overcome obstacles and that we are worthy of the success we start. The battle between doubt, and faith is a constant one. When doubt dominates, we hesitate, we fear, and we hold ourselves back. But when faith leads, we are empowered to take action, to keep moving forward despite the challenges. The difference lies in our ability to choose which voice we listen to. While doubt may appear louder and more convincing, faith has the power to quiet that noise and guide us toward our highest potential. The key to overcoming doubt is to nurture faith. It's important to remember that doubt is natural, but it doesn't define us. The more we choose to trust in ourselves, in the process, and in the possibilities, the stronger our faith becomes. We must learn to quiet the negative self-talk of doubt and replace it with affirmations of faith, reminding ourselves of our past successes, strengths, and the potential we have yet to tap into. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to rise after falling, and to keep moving forward despite life's toughest challenges. Throughout history, there have been countless stories of individuals who faced immense hardships but refused to give up. These stories not only inspire us, but also remind us that the human spirit is far stronger than we often realize. One such story is that of Thomas Edison, the inventor of the electric bulb. Before he succeeded, Edison failed over 1,000 times. When asked about his failures, he famously said, "I've not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His resilience, his refusal to quit, and his unshakable belief in his goal led to one of the greatest inventions of all time. Another powerful example is Malala Yousafzai, the Pakistani activist for girls' education. She was targeted and shot by the Taliban for speaking up for the right to education. But instead of being silenced by fear, she grew even stronger. Malala became the youngest Nobel Peace Prize laureate, using her voice on global platforms to fight for justice and education. Her resilience in the face of danger shows how courage and purpose can overcome even the most terrifying obstacles. Nick Vujicic, born without arms and legs, is another story of incredible resilience. Many would see his condition as a limitation, but Nick turned his challenges into strength. Today, he is a world-renowned motivational speaker, spreading a message of hope, positivity, and never giving up. His life proves that resilience is not about what we have, but how we respond to what life gives us. In everyday life, too, we see countless unsung heroes, single mothers working multiple jobs to raise their children, students overcoming poverty to pursue education, and people recovering from loss or trauma to rebuild their lives. Each of these is a story of resilience, filled with pain, strength, and ultimately triumph. Failure is often seen as something negative, a sign of weakness, defeat, or inadequacy. But what if we could change how we see failure? What if, instead of viewing it as the end, we saw it as a stepping stone to growth and success? This shift in mindset is called reframing failure, and it is one of the most powerful tools for personal development. To reframe failure means to change the way we interpret it. Rather than labeling a failed attempt as a total loss, we begin to see it as feedback, a valuable lesson that brings us one step closer to our goal. Every failure holds within it an opportunity to learn, improve, and build resilience. It teaches us what doesn't work, which eventually leads us to what does work. Take the story of Michael Jordan, often considered the greatest basketball player of all time. He was once cut from his high school basketball team. Instead of letting that failure define him, he used it as motivation to work harder. Jordan later said, "I've failed and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." His success was built on countless failures, each one a lesson that shaped his path forward. Another example is J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before becoming a billionaire writer, she faced multiple rejections from publishers and was living in poverty as a single mother. But she didn't let failure stop her. Instead, she saw it as a chance to keep improving her writing. Her story is a global inspiration. Reframing failure also helps reduce fear. When we no longer see failure as a dead end, we become more willing to take risks, try new things, and push our limits. This mindset unlocks creativity, innovation, and growth. It allows us to move from "what if I fail" to "what can I learn if I fail?" An unshakable mindset is the foundation of true strength. It is the mental toughness that helps you rise above failure, criticism, pain, and fear. When everything around you seems to be falling apart, it is this mindset that helps you stand tall and keep moving forward. The phrase "rise, unshakable mindset" is a call to develop that inner power which refuses to quit no matter the circumstances. Life is full of challenges. Everyone faces setbacks, financial struggles, emotional pain, betrayal, failure, and disappointment. But while some break under pressure, others rise. The difference lies not in talent or luck, but in mindset. An unshakable mindset does not mean that you never feel fear or doubt. It means you feel them and choose to move forward anyway. It's the belief that no matter how many times you fall, you will get up every time, stronger, wiser, and more determined. A powerful example of this is Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison, yet emerged without bitterness and led his country toward peace. What kept him going? An unshakable belief in his purpose. Another example is Bethany Hamilton, the professional surfer who lost her arm in a shark attack, but returned to surfing and competed at the highest levels. She didn't let tragedy define her. She let her mindset shape her future. Building this kind of mindset starts with self-awareness. You must learn to control your thoughts, not let your thoughts control you. Negative thinking, fear, and self-doubt will always try to enter your mind. But with discipline and daily practice, through affirmations, journaling, meditation, or simply pushing through hard tasks. You train your mind to stay strong. An unshakable mindset also means having a vision. When you know why you're doing something, it becomes easier to endure the how. It's about focusing on the goal, not the obstacles. You develop the courage to take risks, embrace failure, and learn from every fall. Success doesn't come from making excuses. It comes from taking action. Action over excuses is a mindset that separates those who achieve their goals from those who only dream about them. Every day we're faced with a choice to move forward or to make an excuse. Those who rise above average are the ones who choose action, no matter how difficult the path may seem. Excuses are easy. I don't have time, I'm too tired, I'm not ready. These are comfortable lies we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort, fear, and effort. Excuses give temporary relief, but in the long run, they keep us stuck in the same place, frustrated, unfulfilled, and full of regret. The truth is, if something truly matters to you, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. Taking action, on the other hand, demands discipline and courage. It means showing up even when you're not in the mood. It means doing what needs to be done, whether or not you feel ready. Action leads to results, and results lead to growth. One step forward is always better than standing still in fear or doubt. Another example is Oprah Winfrey, who overcame poverty, abuse, and countless rejections. She didn't let her circumstances define her. Instead, she kept taking action, one step at a time, until she built a global media empire. If you want to transform your life, you must drop the excuses and start taking action, even if it's small, even if it's messy. Progress doesn't require perfection. It only requires movement. One phone call, one workout, 1 hour of focused work. It all adds up. Purpose is the inner compass that gives direction to our lives. It is the why behind everything we do, the reason we wake up in the morning, the fuel that drives our actions, and the light that guides us through darkness. The power of purpose is unmatched. It gives us strength in struggle, clarity in confusion, and meaning in the midst of chaos. People with a strong sense of purpose don't quit easily. They don't crumble under pressure or run from failure. Instead, they push forward because they know what they're fighting for. Purpose turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. It's not just about chasing success. It's about fulfilling a mission that goes beyond self-interest. Take the example of Martin Luther King Jr., who led the civil rights movement in America. Despite threats, jail time, and constant danger, he stood firm because his purpose was greater than his fear. He once said, "If a man has not discovered something that he will die for, he isn't fit to live." His purpose gave him unshakable courage and left a legacy that changed the world. Another example is Mother Teresa, who dedicated her life to serving the poor and sick. She didn't chase wealth or fame. Her purpose was love in action. And that purpose made her one of the most respected figures in history. Her life proves that when we live for something greater than ourselves, we tap into a power far beyond motivation. We tap into meaning. Also provides focus. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to get lost. But when you know your purpose, you filter out the noise. You say no to what doesn't align with your mission. You stop drifting and start directing. You don't have to be famous to live with purpose. Whether you're raising a family, building a business, creating art, or serving your community, your purpose is personal. But once you find it, nurture it, and live it daily, you become unstoppable. True greatness is not just about rising alone. It's about lifting others as you rise. Rise with others is a philosophy that embraces teamwork, compassion, support, and collective progress. It's a mindset that understands success is sweeter and stronger when shared. No one climbs to the top entirely by themselves. Behind every success story are helping hands, encouraging voices, and meaningful connections. In today's competitive world, it's easy to fall into the trap of selfish ambition. But lasting impact is never built through isolation or ego. It's built through collaboration and community. When we choose to rise with others, we create a culture of mutual growth. We inspire, empower, and help one another overcome obstacles. And in doing so, we rise higher than we ever could alone. One powerful example of this is Nelson Mandela, who after decades of imprisonment, emerged not seeking revenge but unity. He believed in reconciliation, in building a better future together. His leadership was about personal power. It was about collective freedom. That mindset changed a nation. In the world of business, look at Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks. He famously said, "Success is best when it's shared." He built a company that didn't just focus on profits, but on people, offering healthcare to employees, education support, and creating an environment where everyone could grow. His belief in rising with others turned Starbucks into a global brand, powered by loyalty and trust. Rising with others doesn't always mean grand gestures. It can be as simple as encouraging a friend, mentoring someone who's struggling, or celebrating someone else's success. Small acts of kindness, when consistent, build a strong foundation of trust and connection. Moreover, when you help others grow, you grow too. You gain new perspectives, strengthen your leadership, and create a network of support that makes you more resilient during your own challenges. It's not weakness to lift others, it's wisdom. Every journey of growth is marked by moments of failure, those painful falls that test your spirit, your strength, and your belief in yourself. But it is in those moments, the final fall, when you feel like there's nothing left, that the seed of the ultimate rise is planted. Because the greatest power of the human spirit is not in never falling, but in always rising. The final fall is the moment when you hit your lowest point. You feel broken, tired, alone. Doubt screams louder than ever. The world may turn its back on you, but this is not the end, it's the turning point. This is where ordinary people become legends. When you choose to rise one more time, when you find the strength to take one more step, you begin your greatest transformation. Think of the story of J.K. Rowling, who was rejected by multiple publishers, divorced, depressed, and living in poverty. She had every reason to give up, but she didn't. She kept writing, kept believing. That final fall became the launchpad for one of the most inspiring rises in literary history. Harry Potter didn't just become a book series. It became a global phenomenon, born out of pain and persistence. Or consider Muhammad Ali, who lost his title, was banned from boxing and ridiculed by the world. But he came back not just to fight, but to win. His comeback wasn't just physical, it was mental, emotional, and spiritual. It proved that no matter how hard you fall, your rise can echo through history. Your final fall could be the moment that defines your legacy. If you decide not to stay down, rise even when it hurts. Rise even when no one believes in you. Rise not just for the world to see, but for yourself. For the fire inside that refuses to die. Is the ultimate rise is not just about success. It's about redemption. It's about becoming everything you were meant to be. It's about turning pain into power, loss into legacy, and failure into fuel. Fall 7 times, rise 8. This is your moment, not the end, but the beginning of your greatest rise. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Success Mindset.